Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of For the Fans podcast. We are here right after the Super Bowl. Honestly, I enjoyed the Super Bowl.
It was really good, but Shane, you say welcome to another episode of For the Fans. You're forgetting one very important detail about this episode.
I probably am.
For those who probably already guessed it, if you've been following us for a while, you know that normally we have one episode that takes place after the Super Bowl ends, and that is the end of our season. And then we don't hop on again until the draft. And then, once that's over, you don't see us again until just before the regular season starts up.
hmm
So this is our season finale.
And what a season's been. Honestly, probably one of my favorite seasons in a while. Mainly because, for the most part, throughout the season, we kept going every single week. We're like, any team can win any week. This season's a very crazy, hectic season. Like, good teams are bad teams are good.
Yeah. Well, and maybe a big part of it too is there's just been so many crazy storylines that have been going on too.
hmm I mean, all sorts of things happened this season, and I mean, I think this was like the first time in like 15, 20 years that it was neither the Patriots or the Packers made the playoffs.
Steelers as well too. First time,
Yeah.
first time since 2000 that none of those teams were in the playoffs.
So we got to see the fall of three of the powerhouses in the NFL, which was very interesting. And now Aaron Rodgers is hiding in his secluded dark room, not coming out. What, he comes out tomorrow or Friday with his announcement?
I don't even remember. I haven't been keeping track. I showed like that whole report to my wife the other day, and she just rolled her eyes because I've obviously brainwashed her to hate Aaron Rodgers, and
I mean,
so.
smart man.
Oh yeah, totally. No, so that's the situation there, and then Tom Brady's obviously retired, and then I
Again.
don't know. Again, Steelers trying to figure things out as far as next steps with Kenny Pickett, and then we've got all these other teams too that we're going to be talking about as far as their next steps and where they stack up going into next season when we essentially will put our own power rankings together. But that's part of For the Fun. Before we do that, we always go over our little bit of news, and really the only things that we have to cover right now that are kind of big news, big deal announcements is we have now had all the head coaching hires be completed for all of the teams that had a vacancy. With the Super Bowl ending and the Eagles now having some of their staff members available, the Indianapolis Colts they hired the Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen as their new head coach, and the Arizona Cardinals hired the Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon as their new head coach. So the Eagles are going to be currently hiring for a new OC and DC. So that will be interesting for them.
I think
Now
the
we've got all the
Eagles are
head
also
coaching.
losing a lot of players on expiring contracts as well.
I will need to take a look at that, and we're going to need to factor that in a little bit, kind of as far as what we're looking ahead in for next year. But, we're losing two of these top notch coaches that have been on Nick Sirianni's staff. I think that does deal a little bit of a blow to the Eagles going ahead into next year. We'll see how that bodes. But now with that, all the open vacancies for head coaching spots have been filled. We covered these two. D'Amico Ryans has been announced as the Texans head coach. He's already had his introduction. Same with Frank Reich over at the Panthers. Let's see. There's another one I'm forgetting, aren't I?
I believe so. We went through them all earlier before. Did you say Sean Payton?
No, that and obviously that's a big one. There we go. Sean Payton, now the Broncos head coach. That's the big one, obviously, the Golden Goose.
Oh, Sean Payton's back.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to
Meanwhile,
see if he
Cliff
can turn that
Kingsbury is
franchise.
somewhere in Taiwan.
Actually, there's talk he may go on the Texans staff.
What the? I thought you said don't call me. I'm taking a break.
No, I think they're gonna meet that he's going to
Oh
meet with the
man,
Texan staff and he may go on the staff.
that was a very short break, almost as short as Brady's retirement.
Right. I don't know if that's true, but that's
Oh
the scoop.
man.
Anyway, now we've covered our little bit of news. Before we jump into our For the Fun, yes, it's a shorter episode. Obviously, we don't have much to talk about outside of the Super Bowl itself. So, we've got a couple of questions as we kind of react to the Super Bowl and some of its big moments. So, Shane, in your mind, where does this Super Bowl rank in Super Bowls all time? There's some notable aspects of this Super Bowl as far as, the young quarterbacks who were there. It was the Kelsey Bowl. It was a very high scoring Super Bowl. In fact, it's the third highest scoring Super Bowl of all time. The record is still held, I believe, between the 49ers and the Broncos back in the 90s,
Something
early
like
90s.
that.
I think it was the 1990, but it was 75 points that were scored. There, if I remember
They came
correctly, there were
close. They came
73.
close.
If I remember correctly, it was 72 or 73 points were scored in this Super Bowl.
And I will say that probably would have been broken if Jerick McKinnon wasn't a team player in the final minute.
Right. But it was very smart, personally, I think, for him to make that move. Obviously, to set up the field goal, take time off the clock. Because let's be honest, once they kicked that field goal, the Eagles had seconds to do something. It was not. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Jerick McKinnon, he got the ball, and he could have scored a touchdown. He was wide open. The Eagles players, I think, were even leaving him alone to go and score a touchdown, but he slid down in the 1-yard line, which is a smart play. That way the clock could keep going. The sad thing is, I've seen multiple people bashing him for making that decision.
Why?
For the main reason is that fans are stupid in the sense of they're like, wow, that was such a boring way to end the Super Bowl. And I'm like, what? No, that was the smart thing to do. Why should the Chiefs give the ball to the Eagles with a minute left to go and score?
It was a very smart idea too, because you know where a lot of that decision making was coming from. Not entirely from Jerick McKinnon. At least I see it, how I see it, because where I see it coming from is from Coach Andy Reid. Because Andy Reid in the past has been criticized for being notoriously bad at managing the clock. And he handled that like a master there at the end with the fact that they were tied to get the Chiefs to march down the field, and he managed the clock perfectly just to give enough time to kick that field goal, and then the Eagles had no time left.
And I mean, I'm also giving credit to Jerick McKinnon because he's an older running back, and running backs don't stay long in the league. He could have said, I got to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, which not many people get to say that their entire career. He could have, but he chose not to. So I applaud him for that. Anyways, going back to the Super Bowl among all times, we had, like you said, we had the Kelsey Bowl, high scoring game, all this sort of stuff. I think it's easily within my top 10.
Oh, I think so too. I remember there was an ESPN article that was saying it's the best Super Bowl of all time. Yes, it was a high scoring affair. And I think that was kind of interesting to watch because you could still tell the defenses were trying to make it a tough game. It was so competitive. That was what made it good.
Apparently, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that apparently the Arizona field is also cursed, and the field to play on was just horrible because everybody was just sliding on the field the whole time.
I saw that, and they changed their cleats in order to try and make it better.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is I like it. It may even, dare I say, go into the top 5 Super Bowls that I have seen all time.
Yeah, see, for me, I'm just like, I think for me, it's sitting at number 6 is the thing.
Okay, let's hear what your top 5 are.
Sure, we've done this before. I don't even remember the top 5, but I'm just saying, like, of all time, even ones that we personally have not seen.
Right, okay. Yeah, because here I am. I'm like, wow, you got this set at 6? You already got this figured out? Okay, cool.
I'm saying it's, like, around there. Like, for me, it doesn't quite hit my top 5, but it's easily in my top 10.
Gotcha. See, I mean, for all I know, I could even say it's maybe even number 2. The only reason I know I can't say it's number 1 is because personally, I believe that the best Super Bowl ever was the last time the Super Bowl was in Arizona, and that was Super Bowl 49 between the Patriots and the Seahawks.
I was going to say Patriots and Seahawks. Yeah, that one was a good one.
That was the best Super Bowl ever.
I don't want to say it's the best only because the Patriots won it.
Oh, I was okay with that one with the Patriots winning because that was only Brady's 4th Super Bowl, and it had been like 10 years since he'd had his last one. Last Super Bowl win, that is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this might be kind of just a boring pick, but I think my personal favorite is gonna be Super Bowl 50.
Really?
I like the whole Peyton Manning Cinderella story of going out on top.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And then you also have to factor in how good Super Bowl 51 was from how dramatic it was. 28-3, Patriots coming back to win it. That's why I say that one is just legendary, simply because it's the only one that went into overtime, and it was just a dramatic game there at the end.
Yeah, it was very good. Anyways, sorry, I'm like playing around with all sorts of stuff right now, so give me a minute.
Okay. I'm just thinking on my end, obviously, since I can't see, you're just like, yeah, but it was the Patriots, so yeah, it wasn't very good.
I mean, you're not completely wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to pick any other one that I really enjoyed, I actually enjoyed Super Bowl 47 for how wacky it was. That was Ravens and 49ers, and that's when the lights went out.
Oh
In that
yeah,
Super Bowl.
man. The
That one was weird, and I
that
liked
one
it.
popped up on my Facebook memories the other day, and during
Mhm.
that time there were a lot of Chiefs fans I was friends with on Facebook, and man, seeing them all just be angry that the 49ers lost that game, it was very funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, where does Rihanna's halftime show rank in halftime shows all time? We talk about the halftime show
Oh my.
sometimes because of kind of our whole background experience, some of us even with music. Where do you think this one matches up? I already know it's a gigantic meme because of those marshmallow dancers, but that's never not happened before because I look back at some of the previous um, Super Bowl halftime show memes. I mean, 50 Cent upside down was a meme for a bit there. The Weeknd running around in that weird room was a
I
meme.
was gonna say the
Shakira
weekend. Shakira, man,
Shakira doing her turkey gobble was like a meme.
heck yeah, love Shakira.
The shark dancer for Katy Perry was a meme.
Not even the
There's
short
a
dancer,
couple.
just like half of Katy Perry's halftime show was a meme.
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. You know what I mean? So obviously, I'm not surprised that there's memes that have already come out from Rihanna's halftime show. But what did you think of it? Where do you think it stacks up? What were your honest thoughts of that halftime
You know,
show?
I thought it was good, but part of me is just like, I'm not the biggest Rihanna fan, so I just thought it was kind of okay, but I think she did a good job.
I would say so too. I'm not a huge Rihanna fan either, but interestingly enough, I say I'm not a huge Rihanna fan, but every single song that she
Yep.
sang, I knew. Like
Which is
I knew the words to it.
which
You
I
know what I
think is the
mean?
good thing about what she did is that she did her most popular songs I think everybody would recognize.
Right. And I kind of enjoyed to an extent her show was minimalist. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
It
They had the
wasn't this big
levitating
flashy thing.
platforms and then just background
Yeah.
dancers in the one stage.
Yeah, you didn't really have any like guest stars that were on it or anything like that, and maybe it was a little bit of a refresher because let's be honest, with last year's Super Bowl halftime show with
Oh,
all the rap artists in LA, they pulled out all the plugs. That was crazy. That almost was almost too much to take
I mean,
in. You know
part of
what
me
I
was
mean?
still hoping
Now I
Eminem
say
would
that
come in.
right. I still say that lovingly because that was my favorite like Super Bowl halftime show in recent years.
Psh,
But
psh.
um, I can't complain. I thought it was a decent show. I know some people were saying, well, it wasn't very good or it was boring or something like that.
I mean,
I thought
isn't
it was
she also
fine.
pregnant right now?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's another thing there too. So I say, yeah, sure, it wasn't the most captivating or interesting halftime show that I've ever seen, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't Maroon 5 a couple of
Oh
years
my
ago, which I
gosh,
thought was
Maroon 5
garbage.
was absolute garbage.
Or even what was the other one that I thought was really bad? Oh, Black Eyed Peas. I think that was back.
I
That
was
was
okay
several
with the
years
Black Eyed
ago.
Peas.
Oh, they had mic issues, and I just thought it didn't sound
I
good.
mean, The Weeknd had mic issues, but I can't blame mic issues on the performer.
Yeah, and see, I can't either, but even with the mic issues, I still didn't appreciate the Black Eyed Peas performance, if I'm being honest with you.
Eh, that's fair. I like the Black Eyed
I
Peas because
wasn't,
I like to
yeah,
listen to
and I
their
wasn't
music.
into Madonna's performance or any of those either. Beyonce was fine, Bruno Mars was fine.
Katy Perry was
Um,
funny.
Katy Perry was fire. That one was good. Coldplay was fine. Lady Gaga was pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. There's a bunch. Justin Timberlake was all right. I mean, there you got a bunch of those there that I've just listed off from the past 10 years.
Don't forget Shakira.
That one was good.
Oh,
That one was good.
Shakira was 10
I
out
was
of 10.
That was, but that the reason that one was so good is because I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that show with Shakira and J Lo was gonna be mid. I thought it would be super disappointing and just not entertaining at all. And then I was very, very pleasantly surprised, and I was like, wow, this one's actually really good.
Man. Oh. Anyways.
Yeah. So anyway, next question: how much of a factor were the refs in deciding this game? Do you really think there
Man,
was much
I
of a
hate
factor
that we're
there?
going to be talking about this because I feel like there's going to be so much attack on us for any comment we make. Uh,
Okay, so there's a couple of calls that I have in mind that I want to discuss as far as I'm like, why was that call made? Does that make sense?
right.
The first of which was the Dallas Goddard helmet catch. Do you remember that one where like even it was even challenged by the Chiefs as they were saying it was not a catch because he didn't have full security of the ball?
Yeah.
That was one that I want to kind of talk about, see what our feelings are on that one. The second fumble return that ended up being overturned because they said Miles Sanders did not have security of the ball. There was concern about that one. Obviously, the big one is the holding call at the very end.
I was going to say, I'm like, that holding one is going to be the most talked about.
Let me just put it out there this way. Those first two calls, I'm confused from the point of one, okay, you say Dallas Goddard had security of that ball, like he had secured it even technically on his helmet. You're going to call that and say that was a catch. But you are not going to say that Miles Sanders, who was already like turning to move before he got trucked and lost the ball, you're going to say that is not a catch. That's where I had the issue with those. You know what I mean? That was the issue where I said, okay, the refs are not thinking straight there because Miles Sanders' catch really seemed more like, okay, that was complete. He was turning to move before he got tackled and lost the ball. So it's my whole point behind this is if you're gonna call the Dallas Goddard catch a catch, then you got to call the Miles Sanders catch a catch as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just I feel like let's just get into the one that everyone's going to talk about, which is the quote unquote holding call.
Let me just be honest with my opinions on the holding call. It was a hold, but did it really need to be called? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because it was very light. You could tell it was a hold, but it wasn't something that you could just immediately be like, oh yeah, that's a hold. You know what I mean? And here's my issue with it too. It advanced the opportunity for the Chiefs, and everyone's saying, yeah, well that the refs just gave the game to the Chiefs, blah 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 blah. The Chiefs were going to score anyway with that penalty or not. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I don't think it really decided the game. I thought it was a stupid call, but I don't think it decided the game where in that moment it was like, yep, the Chiefs are going to win because the refs just handed the game to them. No, they would have scored anyway. The
Was
Eagles defense could not stop them at that point.
but was that play a third down play or was that a first or second?
That was a first or second, if I
Oh,
remember
okay,
correctly.
yeah.
And even if not, say for example that had not happened, you know what I mean? Say for example that holding call had not been made, but it was still an incompletion, and say it was third down, because again, I don't remember. Let's say it was third down, and then it's fourth down. They were close enough. Butker could have kicked it and scored there, and okay, there'd be some time on the clock. But I'm going to be honest with you, the Chiefs still would have scored. I did not have enough faith in the Eagles to be able to score after that. They had essentially they had been gassed. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm gonna see if I can find if it was a uh first, second, or third. So you might need to give me a minute.
And I mean, never say never because obviously, we did say, hey, we saw there at one point when the Chiefs started to extend the lead, we saw the Eagles come back and tie it.
I mean that is fair. Okay, so let me see if I can find this. I don't care about the stats. I want the play-by-play. Plays. Let's see here.
Just figure out which down it was.
Oh, it's like just going to the very bottom and to the end of the game. Um, It was a third down. It was 3rd and 8.
Okay. Oh, it would have been 3rd and long. So yeah, it could have changed things potentially. I don't know. I still feel like there was an opportunity there where the Chiefs still would have won it anyway, regardless of that holding call.
I mean, I will say I'll give Eagles fans credit. You don't know. It could have made a difference. It may not have made a difference because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to depend. How risky are the Chiefs going to be? Are they going to go for it on 4th and long, or are they going to just kick a field goal and hope their defense can stop the Eagles, who were also kind of going back and forth and scoring on them?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I say with this play, I agree with you with the did it need to be called. I want to say no because it was so early on. It didn't impede the route or anything, and it was a light hold. The defensive player even admitted it was a hold, but it was
Yep.
so early on. Ugh. The biggest thing I've heard is that people are more upset because they have been letting those kind of holds go all game, but in
No.
the
Yep.
final minute they threw the flag for it.
Which is what I did mention. I said that was a stupid call.
Mm-hmm.
I am not denying that. When that flag got thrown, I said, really? Really? You know what I mean? Because then, again, a part of that issue was when they did that, it was an anticlimactic ending to the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are just mad at the Chiefs because the Chiefs are turning into the new Patriots, and so a lot of people are just like, great, now we have to deal with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for 20 plus years and gain 7 rings.
Right.
Because literally, they're basically clones of each other. Whereas like you got a elite young quarterback who has a very very good tight end that he always throws it to.
Right. And that tight end wears number 87.
Please tell me you watched the Gridiron Heights from today.
I did. I also watched
Oh,
whatever his name
Grossi,
is. I watched the whole name. No, not Grossi. The other dude. Whatever his
Benchwarmer
name is.
Brett.
Yeah.
Shoot, he had one. Okay, I got to pull that up and watch that later today.
Okay.
Man,
Anyway,
the
with that
script
being
writing
said,
is great in the NFL.
yep. So with that
Sheesh.
being said, what went right for the Chiefs? Like, how did they win? What do you think were the big things that really just helped them get that? Besides anyone who wants to throw a refs comment in there. Outside of that.
I want to say what went right for the Chiefs, and honestly, I think the main reason they won this game. I look back and I look up and I look at that Jalen Hurts fumble for the scoop and score
Hmm.
touchdown.
Yep.
I say that was
I
what ended it for them.
I think that was a boon to them. I think that really helped them. Another thing that I think was really, really fortunate for them is darn well during halftime while Bad Girl Riri is, singing to all of us, Patrick Mahomes is like getting like 5 shots of Toradol in his butt. You know what I mean?
Mahomes is getting everything to be able to just play.
He got so many drugs during halftime to be able to go
Legal,
on that
not
ankle.
performance enhancing, legal.
Yeah, just painkillers.
Man, sheesh. I remember messaging you because I was at the Super Bowl party I was at. Everybody was rooting for the Chiefs. You were not allowed to be there if you were rooting for the Chiefs, or not rooting for the Chiefs, rooting for the Eagles. You could not be there if you were rooting for the Chiefs.
uh,
And so when I saw that injury happen, I looked at the host of the party, who's a super cool guy, and I said, "Is that the same ankle the Jaguars messed up in the playoffs? Look at us. My team's helping the Eagles win." He had a good laugh about that.
I remember I saw when he went down and he was all hobbling. I went, oh no, oh no, 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 no.
See, in the back of my
It's
head,
like
I'm like, I've seen this song and dance before. I did not like how it ended.
exactly, and I turned to my mother who was watching with me, and I was like, Mom, that's the same ankle from the playoffs, and I said that's not good.
I think I even messaged you and I'm like, is that the same ankle from the Jaguars game? Oh no.
Yep. But yep, with enough of the painkillers, he came out and he just rocked it in the second
Man,
half.
did you see how wrapped up that ankle was though?
It was. They
The
were ready. They were ready for
that
anything
thing
for
had
that.
bubble wrap and a full pillow on it.
Yep. So,
Sheesh.
so we've covered that for the Chiefs. So obviously, having Mahomes being able to come and ball out even with his injury, and the scoop and score, the defensive touchdown were huge. What went wrong for the Eagles Why did they lose? Yes, we've covered the Jalen Hurts fumble. That was a big one. The biggest thing that I'm going to say, though, is at the end there, that Eagles defense, I was fully expecting with how good they were, they could contain Patrick Mahomes better than that. And
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of fell apart for them at the end. They did not sack him once.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did not get sacked once, and that's even with him being injured and hobbling around.
You cannot tell me now. Look, I did not going into this game. I did not have any pretense of seeing the Chiefs sack Jalen Hurts. I did not think that was going to happen, and it didn't. Not surprised. But the fact that the Eagles defense didn't sack Mahomes once, when I found out that stat, I said, and that's what killed it for them. If they could have gotten a couple of those in there, they could have broken him, and it would have been much easier for the offense to just come in there, storm, get the points, and then the defense would just go back up there and make life difficult, like similar to what the Buccaneers did the last time the Chiefs were
I
in the Super
I
Bowl.
think
So
even
they
if
didn't
they
sack
just
him
sacked
once.
Mahomes once, it would have been good.
Yeah, but nothing happened there. So in the end, unfortunately, I kind of have to pin the blame on the defense. Yes, Jalen Hurts has some accountability due to the fact that he lost that fumble.
But that was
But
still early in the game, and he was able to rally his team after that.
right, and the problem is that defense in the second half, the second half for the Eagles defense, they didn't stop the Chiefs' possession once. The Chiefs scored every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my issue.
I can't argue with it.
Yep. And as of right now, if you look back, obviously this is our fourth season of For the Fans. Unfortunately, because of this, we're now 2-2 when it comes to our Super Bowl picks. Unfortunately, but it
I
is
thought
what it
about
is.
going with the Chiefs. I really did.
I did too. It was a tough pick. This was a harder year to pick it, if I'm being honest with you. But you have to look at it from us too. It was the number one offense and the number two defense. How could we go against that? On paper for what the Eagles look like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we're 2-2. We picked the Chiefs correctly when they won their first. When they won their first Super Bowl with under Mahomes. Unfortunately, we picked them again when they got killed by the Buccaneers. So we got that one wrong. We got the Rams right last year. We picked them over the Bengals, even though we wanted the Bengals to win.
That's very true.
And yep, and then obviously we made a mistake because we picked the Eagles this year. But this one was tough. Let me just say, this one was a tough pick.
I mean, we even went into the Super Bowl saying, "Hey, this game's going to be a coin flip."
Exactly, and it was so close. It was decided in the last few minutes, and it was only by a score of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But with that being said, now we need to look ahead towards next year. Who is going to be at the top is going to be the good teams that do really, really well, and how does that stack up for Super Bowl 58, which is going to be in Las Vegas? Who are going to be those two teams? Shane, let's go over our For the Fun, which is where we talk about our early power rankings, our way too early power rankings for NFL teams next year.
Oh boy. Who do you
I
have
need
as
to
your number
hear.
one?
It is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep. The
I
defending
say
champs, I
that
think, are going to
because
be it.
Yep, I say that because I look at their situation with their setup. They're going to have a lot of players who come back. Mahomes and Kelsey are still there. Andy Reid's coming back. They've still got the dynamic players there, and it's just going to go up from there. They are going to be the top team next year.
Not unbeatable, but they are going to be the team to beat.
Exactly. Now, I am curious to see what adjustments the Chargers will make, hopefully with a more healthy roster. The Broncos now with Sean Payton, potentially even the Raiders with a new quarterback. But I still believe it will be the Chiefs at the top.
Okay. Who's your number two
Now,
then?
I might surprise you with who I think is going to be the number 2 team.
Okay.
I say it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, nope, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay? Here is my call for this one. I believe that they are going to right the ship with their offense in the fourth quarter. They're going to figure out the mistakes that they had essentially made during this past season, including getting off to a slow start there at the beginning, if you remember correctly, when they were 0-2. And it's going to be almost, you could say it's a revenge year for them. The same how it was for the Chiefs when it comes back to the AFC Championship game. I'm going to make a bold prediction now before we move to number 3. Joe Burrow wins MVP next year.
Ooh. I'll make an even bolder one. I'll agree with you on the MVP, but he will
Hmm.
not go to the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All
Apparently,
right.
apparently, the past 17 quarterbacks who made their Super Bowl
Oh, yeah.
debut and lost have never returned.
Yes, that's true.
And I looked at that list of quarterbacks, and man, there were some good quarterbacks on there, and it goes back.
There are only two quarterbacks recently who were losing QBs who have made it back to the Super Bowl and have, on top of that, won it, and that would be Brady and Mahomes.
Yep.
That doesn't mean it's impossible, though.
No, no. It 100% is not, but it is difficult.
It will be, yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, who is your number three team?
My number three, I want to say the Bills, but I don't know if somebody leapfrogs them right now.
I have an NFC team at number three.
Okay, let's hear your NFC team, because I feel like it's going to be one of two.
I believe it's the San Francisco
I
49ers.
felt like you were going to say the 49ers.
I say that I believe that it's going to actually be very healthy for them to have the QB competition between Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. But once they
But
settle on who the
Purdy's
starter is,
injured.
but they say he could come back for training camp with his surgery.
I heard that he was out all of next season from the last I heard,
No,
so.
that's fake news as they call it.
Okay, Trump. I tell you what, I don't want to put the 49ers at 3, but I will put them at 4.
Okay.
I have the
So
Bills
why
at number 3.
you have the Bills at number three? Okay, here is my concern of why I
Right.
feel like the Bills have dropped off a little bit. They're kind of becoming the Packers. I know that sounds terrible to say, but I don't think they have the recipe to be able to stay on top like they were before. And they're gonna lose some defensive pieces. There's again more talk of Stephon Diggs being disgruntled. I think they're gonna slip a little bit. I still think they'll win their division, but I don't think I can put them in the number three spot. Truth be told, I actually have them in the number six spot on
Oh,
my
wow.
power rankings.
See, my thing is, I think they're going to be like the 80s Bills a little bit,
Okay.
where they're a good team and they will go to the Super Bowl, but they won't win.
Okay.
But, okay, let's do 49ers at 3.
Okay.
And I'm
At
saying
number.
this as if Purdy is healthy and able to come back.
Okay. Cool. How about number four?
4, I say that we put the Bills.
I
Unless,
disagree.
okay, who's your 4?
The Miami Dolphins.
Ah, I don't hate it. I worry about Tua's health, and that is my issue with Dolphins.
I think there will be extra emphasis on making sure he's protected, giving more attention to the offensive line in this offseason, and with Vic Fangio as their defensive coach, things are going to get better, and the Dolphins will give the Bills a challenge.
Okay,
I have the Dolphins at number four.
okay, I'll say Dolphins 4. I like the Dolphins, so I don't hate it.
I can go with the Bills at five.
Okay, we'll do Bills at 5.
At number six, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't have the Eagles. I have the Cowboys.
Really?
Yep.
Give me your reasoning behind that.
Ah, honestly, I think the Cowboys will get the pieces that they need and push forward. I mean, I'm looking like what they did this year, and I'm like, okay, next year I feel like they'll keep a lot of their key pieces, let some others, and then get some others. So, how
Here's
low
my
do you have the Cowboys?
11.
Sheesh.
Here's
Sheesh.
why. Here's why. Because apparently, according to the NFL script, it's the Cowboys and the Bengals in the Super Bowl next year. Um, but here's why I have them lower. Dak Prescott is past his prime. He's throwing more and more interceptions. He's showing more struggles as time goes on. I don't trust Mike McCarthy's coaching decisions.
Fair.
Kellen Moore is gone. I don't believe he was the problem, and they have to figure out the running back situation with Tony Pollard's injury and the fact that Ezekiel Elliott is not the answer. And CeeDee Lamb needs help at wide receiver.
What position do the Cowboys pick in this draft? They pick pretty late.
Yeah, they do. Not too late.
But they're picking 26. But here's the thing: I've heard that the Cowboys are going to pick up the number 1 running back in Bijan Robinson.
I could see that happening, and
And
that
if
would be
that happens, that's where I'm
awful
gonna
for
be like,
them.
okay, that run game could be very, very good again.
My reasoning for why I want to say the Eagles are up there higher again. Now, granted, I could agree with you on this that it's the Cowboys at number 6, and here's why. We go off of past history. The NFC East, there's never been a team in like almost 20 years now that has won back-to-back division titles.
Hmm.
With that being said, we'd have to put the Cowboys higher than the Eagles. So you know what? I'll go for it, and I'll say the Cowboys at number 6.
Or we
But
want to
I
be
do have
real.
concerns.
If we want to be real risky, we'll say the Commies come in at number 6.
Okay.
I felt like
Uh,
you just died a little bit on the inside with that.
a little bit. Yeah, that hurt me a little bit. Okay. At you at number 7, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Heck yeah, baby, me too.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Seven's my lucky number. They were going right there.
All right. Let's put the Philadelphia Eagles at number 8 because I
Uh,
can't see them going any lower than that.
Yeah, I think our top 10 is gonna be kind of the same, and then things will start to
Right.
fall.
Number 9, I have the Los Angeles Chargers.
I don't think I have them at number 9. I think I have them at 10.
Okay. I have them at number. I actually have them at number 8 on my list. But
I have the
um,
Ravens ahead of the Chargers right now.
yeah, I actually have the Ravens right after the Chargers. But you know what? Now that I think about it, with what the Ravens can do when healthy, and if they
Mhm.
keep Lamar Jackson, which I think they're going
They're
to,
they're
let's put the
going
Ravens at
to.
number 9. Yeah, let's put the Ravens at number 9 and the Chargers at number 10.
The Chargers.
Okay, this one's gonna sound weird.
Oh,
You wanna know who I have next?
The Lions. Please be the Lions.
It's actually the Lions.
Yes! Yes! Freaking love
the
the
next
Lions.
one's weird. The next one's weird too.
The Bears.
No, I have the Giants coming up next.
Oh. The thing is with the Giants, I feel like they're losing a lot of key pieces, and I don't know who's staying and who's going.
You know what? I can agree with that.
I don't think they're at number 12, but I think they're 13, 14.
Okay. So who would go here? The Minnesota Vikings?
No, the Minnesota Vikings are frauds.
How about this one? It's kind of a bold pick, but what about the Denver Broncos?
I actually kind of like the Broncos for this. It sounds very weird, but I think Sean
Mhm.
Payton is what the Broncos need.
Okay, all right. Then this is where it starts to get difficult.
13 we can do Giants. You want to do Giants at 13?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable with that because I feel more comfortable putting the Giants before the Vikings.
Yeah.
So here's our next dilemma. In my book, it's either the Vikings or the Seahawks next.
I would rather do Seahawks.
Okay. But then I feel like you have to put the Vikings after that.
I feel like you have to too, but the thing is, the Vikings are good until they hit the playoffs.
Yes, no,
I'll
I
say
agree.
that.
Yep. After that, I am gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams.
You think they're gonna bounce back?
A little bit. They're only at number 16, but they'll bounce back a little bit.
Ah, man. I'm having to look at these teams again because I'm like, the NFC South, they're all dead. The NFC South doesn't exist in my mind.
Here are kind of your options as far as who you can consider next, if not the Rams. Raiders, the Browns, the Commanders, the Jets, the Titans, the Steelers.
I would honestly do the Steelers.
There's too many question marks there for me.
There are so many question marks, but look at what they do with all the question marks they had this season.
I would agree. I still think, as far as overall at the end, it's going to be the Rams at number 16, the Steelers at number 17.
I will concede on this.
Okay.
I'm really sad that our defending Super Bowl champions just kind of fell off the boat and died.
Right.
Like, I didn't even hear Cooper Kupp's name this season.
Oh, yeah, because of his injury. Number 18, if Zach Wilson is not the quarterback, I have the Jets at number 18.
I don't even have the Jets at number 18. I would rather put the Bears there.
Oh, no, 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 no. Don't get ahead of
Yeah.
yourself.
Go to
Don't
the.
get ahead of
You
yourself.
guys have the biggest cap space, the best draft position. You guys are gonna bulk up your defense with your draft position, and then you're gonna grab all the top free agents.
We don't know that as far as
Shh.
how, because we don't know how many free agents actually want to come to Chicago, is
You
the
know what?
problem.
I will not put the Bears at 18 as long as you put them within the Nets 3. So they need to hit 20 at the bare minimum.
Yikes. I have them at 28.
Why, dude? Why are you hating on your own team? I think you guys have more. 28. I had the entire NFC South below the Bears.
I am not. It's not entirely me hating on my team. The biggest thing is I still feel like there is one more year, is what it is, before things
Mm.
can maybe make a change. I don't believe this is the year.
Ah, I hate
I
you
will eat my
sometimes.
own hat if I'm wrong and the Bears make the playoffs, but I don't believe it's this year. I believe it could be the following season.
I
I
don't
could
think it's the
believe
Jets this year. I mean the Jets have everything but a quarterback.
exactly. And what if Aaron Rodgers does make this wacky decision based off his solitude and he
Screw
does go to the Jets? Because
Screw
the
Aaron
Jets have
Rodgers.
asked
That's what I'm
about
gonna
him.
say. Aaron
The
Rodgers is gonna
Jets
go
have
to the
asked about him. They've asked about him.
Rodgers is gonna go to the Raiders and get back together with Devonte Adams.
Fine. Raiders at 18.
I knew this was gonna be
But,
where the fighting starts to happen because this is where it
yeah.
gets stupid.
But with their defense and the fact that I can't trust the Patriots or some of the other teams there, number 19, put the Jets there.
Who do you have as being their quarterback? Is gonna be my question then.
Well, if it's not Aaron Rodgers, it's Derek Carr.
Yeah, I would say Derek Carr. Derek Carr would do well with the Jets, I think.
Yep. Number 20.
Oh, plus they got their young rookie running back coming back.
Yep, exactly. So I think there's potential there. It's the quarterback. Quarterback is the answer.
Quarterback's the answer.
Number 20, I got the Cleveland Browns. They've got all the pieces there. It just won't work well enough.
I'm double checking my stuff, making sure. My thing is, how much do you trust Deshaun Watson?
I trust him enough to make a step forward this season, but not good enough to essentially. If you look at our power rankings, they'll still finish at the bottom of the AFC North.
Okay. I think for 21, I gotta do Steelers though.
We have him at number 17, dog.
Oh wow. You know, like I told you before we got on, it's been a crazy day.
Yeah. Number 21, Washington Commanders, in my book.
Gotta get the commies in.
And number 22, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, honestly, I think the Titans are on the downhill slope. Derrick Henry's gonna be out of this league in a year or two, and when he's gone, Titans are gonna be probably
Yeah.
the bottom team.
Tell you what, I will concede with you on this based off of what you were saying. Number 23, let's go with the Chicago Bears. I know I have them at 28. We'll go with the Bears at number 23.
The Bears.
Number 24, let's go with the Carolina Panthers, which I consider to be
No.
the most likely team to win the NFC South.
With what?
With a new promising head coach who could actually
Oh.
do right with a decent quarterback.
Honestly, I would
Arnold
probably.
Arnold has potential. Hear me out. He has potential if he's not with the freaking Jets.
My guy.
And when he was the starting quarterback and he had Steve Wilks as his interim coach, he was actually doing a good job.
Let me fit something for you, because I feel like this team's gonna fall too far. I'm gonna say Patriots.
I could go with that one. I could go with that one.
I'm like, I don't want the Patriots to fall too far.
Okay, all right. And then Panthers after that.
I don't like it, but okay.
Okay, and then another P team. We're going to go with the Packers at 26.
Okay.
Next, let's go with the Saints, in my opinion. No,
Nah.
Falcons.
Colts.
No, Colts are
Colts,
going to slip.
Colts are gonna get a young, hot quarterback.
Colts are cursed.
I think the Colts are coming at 27.
All right, I'll concede with you on that one because I haven't done much conceding. Okay, fine. 28 Falcons. Ah, that's fitting.
Exactly. Now you see why I wanted the Colts at 27?
There you go. There you go. Okay,
Uh,
number 29, the Saints.
I'm only worried because you have like the entire NFC South like completely done except for the Buccaneers.
Yep.
Uh, my question
Saints at
is,
29.
my only question is right now, where do you have the Texans at the moment?
32.
You have the Texans as the worst, even with Bryce Young coming in.
Yep. Yep, because they don't have anything else.
They got Damian Pierce.
That's
They
not
got
enough.
they got a quarterback and a running back.
You need an O-line. You need a defense.
You're not wrong. Okay, you
You
said
need
Saints.
you need capable receivers for Bryce Young. He's coming from Alabama. He's used to having good
wait,
receivers.
wait, hold on. NFL team cap space. How much cap does the Texans have right now? I feel they got a decent amount. They're at number 5.
Yeah.
They could
I
get
think they're
some
at the bottom.
good players.
I still think they're at the bottom.
Who are some notable free agents? Let's see if they can get anything. Pass.
Got it.
Oh,
They'll go to other teams first.
oh. I forgot something. I don't know if you remember this.
Okay.
Geno Smith was just played on a contract year.
Does that switch up where we would have the Seahawks? Because I hear they're going to offer him a deal.
I feel like they will, but I don't know for how long. So I feel like we're fine keeping him there. I'm sorry. I'm looking for
Okay.
wide receiver at the moment, and I don't know. That's really a good wide receiver, and he's the first one listed. Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's a good one, and
Hear me out here. For our last three, put the Buccaneers at number 30. The Cardinals go at 31. The Texans go at 32.
yeah, I don't think I can argue with that. Sorry, I'm still. Wow, there's a lot of quarterbacks coming in for free agency.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they all land up.
I mean, a good amount of like Lamar will reassign with the Ravens. I'm 90% sure. Daniel Jones is gonna go back to the Giants because he just had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Carr's on the move. Jimmy G's on the move. Yeah, that's kind of all the core. Wow, there are not many wide receivers that are going to be grabbed.
Yeah, the options aren't great. That's why you got to go with the draft.
Yeah, I was like, you got Jacoby Myers, then you got Michael Thomas, who hasn't played in forever, and then you got OBJ, who we thought was going to sign with the team this year, but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I'm very interested to see where Josh Jacobs goes.
Yeah, me too. I think he'll probably stay with the Raiders, but
He can hold them for ransom, though.
he could.
Anyways, we got our Super Bowl picks now.
Okay, last thing we got to cover before we call it a season. Shane, who are your two teams for Super Bowl 58? And keep in mind, you can be as wacky as you want.
Here's the thing. I don't think the Jaguars will go this year. I think it will be next year.
Okay.
I have the Bills going up against the Cowboys.
Hey. All right.
I hate myself for saying the Cowboys though.
I do too, but hey, you know what? I'm going to be even wackier just because I want to be. I'm not saying this is truly my pick, but I'd love to see it because it would be awesome. Have the Bengals and the Lions.
Heck yeah, baby! I'd be there for that.
Because I think it'd be fun to see the Lions.
Cat fight.
Exactly. All right, and with that, those are our picks. probably not what's going to happen. Actually, Shane, yours is somewhat realistic for the Super Bowl next year. But with that, that is our season 4. We will be back when the draft happens.
Yep, I will say this real quick. If you could choose any 2 teams to go against each other in the Super Bowl, who would you choose?
Bears and someone.
Pick your AFC team and choose wisely.
Fine, Jaguars. It'd be fun.
I will say, Bears and Jaguars is one of mine, mainly because I feel like you and me would just have so much fun in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my last one, and I'll say this really quick, Jaguars and Panthers, only because they came in the same time.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Another cat fight.
All right. With that, we will see you guys next season. See you guys for the draft.
See you at the draft.